It is 7:01. I'll call the meeting to order. Welcome to all in the gallery. This is the regular meeting of the Council of the Municipality of Swan Valley West, held in Council Chambers at 216 Main Street West, Swan River, Manitoba, this 9th day of March 2021 at 7:01 p.m. Due to COVID-19 restrictions, some members are attending by phone and Zoom due to the numbers allowed. Present in chambers, myself, Deputy Reeve Blosha, Councillor Foster, Wills, and Kushniryk. Via Zoom is Councillor Gade and Councillor Pierrepont. Also in chambers is the ACAO Finance Officer James Webb. First resolution, resolved that the agenda for the regular meeting of council held this 9th day of March 2021 shall be adopted as circulated. Do we have a mover? Councillor Kushniryk. Seconded by Councillor Wills. Any changes requested? If not, all in favor?
Yes.
That is carried. Next resolution, resolved that the minutes for the regular meeting of council for the Municipality of Swan Valley West, held on February 23rd, and special meeting held on February 26th, 2021 shall be adopted as received. Do we have a mover for that resolution? Councillor Blosha. Seconded by Councillor Foster. Are there any errors or omissions?
I'm just curious, did they come out on the email? I'm not sure if I have them or if I'm just not looking at the right spot.
I think they would have come out on one of the first emails, like Friday afternoon.
I'm just checking here right now.
Okay, well, I don't think we have them, but I'm sure you folks are well in hand to look at them and know if there's any issues.
No, I don't think they're on there.
They're not,
No.
okay. Well, I apologize for that from the staff. But I will get those sent out tomorrow morning.
Okay, those that have hard copies, any errors or omissions that you see?
Oh, is it in that one?
Which day? Today? Today's emails? Okay, made me look into today's emails. I hear that they were in there.
Did you find them, Councillor Gade?
No, I'm afraid I didn't. I keep hearing your phone ringing there. I missed what Mr. Webb said. We'll look for them.
Today's email.
Today's email.
No?
Oh, not, we're getting word here now, not, so.
Misinformed. Sorry. Okay.
At any rate, those that have the hard copies in front of them have not found any errors or omissions. If, once you get a chance to review them when they're emailed out to you, if they are, we will make the corrections at the next meeting. I'll call the question. All in favor?
Yes.
That is carried.
We'll go to the delegation.
Am I supposed to read all that?
No, just introduce him.
Okay, Captain Donald Thomson, you are front and center. Proceed, please.
Hi. Okay, so I am Captain Don Thomson. I wear two hats for the purposes of this council. The primary hat that I wear is I'm currently the commanding officer of 519 Royal Canadian Air Cadet Squadron in Swan Valley. We parade out of the museum. In the last year, we changed our training nights from Mondays to Thursdays, and I thought I'd lead off at that start so that everybody's aware of what goes, when the cadets are actually parading at the museum. My secondary hat is, and my full-time job is as the zone training officer for Regional Cadet Support Unit out of for Northwest. And so I reside in Yorkton, and I provide supervision, mentorship, and guidance on training and management of cadet corps and squadrons in a geographical area covering approximately a 200-kilometer radius around Yorkton. So I swing as far out as Wynyard, Saskatchewan, up to the north in Swan River, and as far south as Melville, Saskatchewan. So I'm glad that I have this opportunity, and I hope that I can make this an annual event, as well as that when a suitable successor has been found to be the commanding officer, that I will accompany them or they will take a lead in providing this. But I think it's important to have more or less an annual State of the Union with the Town Council so that you're aware of what's going on in our cadet program, anything that we've accomplished in the last couple of years or year, as well as anything that's coming up in the next year, and to have that healthy conversation. The one thing that I will say is I'm not here to necessarily ask for anything, although I do have two asks that I'd like to pose to council at the end of this. But the primary purpose of this is just to give you the information and to share the information about the cadet program in your community, the health of it, and any concerns or issues that the squadron may be having. So I'm not sure, I'll start off basically with essentially we look at a cadet corps squadron under 4 different pillars. The first pillar is that every corps squadron has to have a support committee of adult volunteers or a sponsor in order to conduct themselves. Because cadet corps and squadrons are not an entity of their own, they need to have a registered business entity that is that can be registered as a nonprofit or profit entity to receive monies, to maintain fundings, to pay bills, and to own assets. Corps and squadrons are not in themselves an entity. So we have technically 2 entities. We have a legal entity as the Royal Canadian Legion that is our sponsor, and they support the squadron very healthily with covering our annual rent at the museum and providing some management support of that legal entity requirement of the Cadet Corps Squadron. As an extension of our sponsor, we have a support committee. They are a non-legal entity because they're not registered as a business at this moment in time and are considering that. But they are specifically made up of community persons that are interested in providing that guidance, support, and volunteer assistance that is required of a Corps squadron. These entities have essentially 2 primary values. They have to manage the finances and the assets that belong to the Corps squadron in the community. And they serve technically as our voice to the community in trying to find cadets and adult volunteers or adult staff in the community. They work with me as a CEO in managing the Cadet Corps, but the staff of the Corps Squadron focus on the training and the administration of the cadets, where the support committee and the sponsor are responsible for the entity management in the community. Again, from that pillar standpoint, we have a very healthy relationship that way. There's always a need for volunteers to to join our support committee to assist in financial management, asset management, public relations, community outreach initiatives, and the like. So we're always looking for adult volunteers in that capacity. The second pillar that we like to, talk about briefly is the health of our facilities and our facility needs. And again, I'm very impressed with the facility that the Cadet Corps or the Cadet Squadron is utilizing. We're using the museum. We have a very healthy relationship with our landlord. The rent is affordable and manageable, and we have the access that we need to conduct the training that we'd like to be able to conduct, both mandatory, complementary, as well as our optional training programs. So we anticipate no challenges in either of those regards. The third pillar is, of course, the youth in the community and the youth participation. And the cadet system over the last 5 years has really developed a lot of very valuable tools for me as a commanding officer, me as a zone officer, and staff in general, in understanding the statistics and understanding the cadet population. Our current strength of cadets with the squadron is 22 cadets. Last year, a year ago, or a year prior to this, we had an average strength of approximately 19 cadets, and we've grown. And the year previous to that, we had an average strength of 16 cadets. So we've seen a pretty solid growth in the cadet participation. From a 5-year maximum perspective, if you look at the cadet population over the last 5 years, 6 years, we've seen a high of as many as 39 cadets in a given month, and we've seen a low as low as 10 cadets in a given month, and that's registered cadets in the program, with an average, oscillating somewhere around the 25 mark. What's interesting about that is that just tells you how many cadets or how many youth are participating in our program. One of the things that the cadet system has given us is they enter in the census data that comes from Statistics Canada. And we know that based on that census, our average population right now is the average youth population in the Swan Valley area is approximately 500 youth. These are youth between the ages of 12 and 18 years of age that could be participants in the program, which is giving us an approximately 4% market impact. Generally speaking, we look at market impact, and when I look at other communities of a similar value in Manitoba, whether they be around the Portage and Brandon area, or not, excluding the Winnipeg side, we see market reaches of anywhere from 3 to 8%. So we're at the middle to bottom tier of that, and I know that we can definitely do better. And we've done some internal assessments to kind of figure out what we need to do in order to improve our outreach to youth in that community. But again, I think that if we were able to achieve an 8% market reach, we would have a squadron somewhere in the 30s to a 40, and those are achievable numbers, and that's one of our internal goals, is to try to grow the program to have a 30 plus 40 plus cadet population on an annual basis. As part of that cadet breakdown, though, I would state that we have a great relationship with Sapatoya Cree Nation and their educational authority in making the cadet program accessible to the youth in that community. They provide transportation services, meal services to cadets on training nights, so that the cadets can get on the bus and make that journey into Swan Valley, and then have safe transportation home at the end of every activity. That community generally has accounted for anywhere from 30 to 45% of our cadet population over the last 5 years. And in absolute numbers, we're seeing anything from 7 to 12 cadets. Which is remarkable in that sense, considering that the average journey is longer than the average training period that goes on in a cadet night. So the cadets or the youth in that community are definitely invested in the program, considering they spend more time traveling to and from cadets in a lot of cases than they get out of the training night that occurs on a Thursday night. We also have cadets participating not just from the town proper or within the town limits, but we have cadets participating from outside of the community. Again, I would say that 25% of the cadets on average are coming from outside of the community, from Minnetonka, from Benito, and from other points that are not considered within the town limits of Swan River. And then the remaining 25 to 30% are coming from inside the town itself. So statistically, we've kind of really analyzed that. From a cultural diversity standpoint, we have definitely have a gender breakdown of approximately 45% female and 55% male, and I know that we have 60% of the cadets identify as Aboriginal youth. So we definitely have a very diverse cultural representation of the area. We have a gender representation, which are very healthy balances. We've got a cadet population that is healthily balanced, and then from a tier management, because the cadet program is operated on a peer leadership structure, where level 1 cadets are typically led by level 2 cadets. Level 2 cadets are led by level 3 cadets. You need to ensure that you have effective ratios of cadets in each of the levels. And again, we deal with, we're looking at, generally speaking, about 40% of our cadets are in level 1, 2, 40% of our cadets are in level 3, 4, and the additional 20% of our cadets are coming in from the level 5 plus as senior cadets. And it gives us a very balanced pyramid structure where the cadet numbers are manageable, so that when cadets are given leadership opportunities, they're not exceeding numbers that are beyond their expectations. One of the challenges the squadron has and had was sticking or delivering the training in a structured way. It's one of the things that we fixed up in the last few years. Last 2 years, we definitely concentrated on delivering our mandatory and our complementary training in a manner that is consistent with the program's expectations, as well as advertising to the youth in the community as what we deliver. And focusing on delivering training in an experience-based, skill-based manner, so that the cadets are not sitting behind tables and being lectured the traditional method of that was being utilized, and staying relevant and current, and putting the cadets around the table and working together towards the development of common goals in the training. So. Because of that, our attendance rates actually improved from a 60-70% attendance rate up to a 93% attendance rate. So it's one thing to have a registered population of 22 cadets, but when you see that on a regular basis you're achieving 20, 21 cadets coming through the door every night, it allows for the training plan to move forward in a more consistent manner. So those are some of the statistics and some of the things that are going on with the cadets. On the staff side of the house, we have some significant challenges. The first part of it is the fact that I, as the zone officer, had to step in and take on a direct leadership role in the community because of the lack of personnel that are qualified in the community. But it's also the lack of the number of staff. When I took over as CO, we had 3 3 staff members for 5 positions. And at this current time, we have 1 staff member for the 5 positions that are on staff. We have 1 prospective employee, 1 prospective civilian instructor, as we call him, which is that can join the staff. And we're going through that paperwork right now. But we definitely have a challenge. Both currently, it hamstrings us in providing effective supervision, administration, and training beyond the basic requirements of weekly training, and it definitely will have a long-term impact on the squadron's viability in the community if that challenge is not overcome in the near term. The length of time that it takes to go through and enroll somebody and train them or provide them the tools necessary to take over as a commanding officer of a core squadron is typically between 3 and 5 years. And depending on the individual, that can take longer. And it can be shortened a little bit to as much as 1.5 years. So it looks like it's going to be a situation where I'll be retaining that leadership for basically the next 2 years, and until such time that a successor has been identified, screened, and then obtain their training qualifications. A core squadron typically has 5 available positions on its staff, with the expectations that a green cadet corps or a cadet corps that is achieving the standards should have a minimum of 4, where 1 person can focus on the command, 1 person can focus on administration, 1 person can focus on supply and logistics, and the 4th person can focus on the training. Recognizing that training delivery is done by all the staff and done in conjunction, where again we are trying to deal with a peer-led model where the cadets deliver a lot of the training, but under the supervision and mentorship of adults. So that's the more or less the current state. From an internal perspective and from my arm's length, from my distance perspective of the cadet program. And so, we have 3 solid pillars and getting stronger in the case of the cadets, but we also have, we have 1 significant weaknesses that, definitely has to be overcome. We're working with the Air Cadet League of Manitoba and the sponsor, the Legion, and the support committee as an extension of that, to work on that and to work on our challenges of identifying adult members that can join the staff, as well as adult personnel to assist the support committee in maintaining that visibility. As part of the State of the Union and the information awareness, not that that I want any resolutions from the council or any direct engagement, but just sharing the information that there is an opportunity for adults at the squadron, and the needs of having adults at the squadron in order to ensure its long-term viability. To become an adult instructor, it's fairly straightforward. You need to be 18 years of age in order to be employed as a member of the Canadian Armed Forces. You need to be able to meet basic medical requirements and nothing substantial. We have no fitness requirement other than to generally be healthy and to meet the training activities of cadets themselves. But there is no requirement like you would have for the primary reserve or the regular force to do any type of 5-mile hike or with a 60-pound pack or 50 push-ups or anything of that nature. And if you see the collective pictures of some of my peers, you will observe that probably the majority of us would have some struggles in that area. the challenges that we have is trying to identify individuals that are stable in the community, willing to take on that type of a commitment, and away it goes. From a commitment perspective, we're looking at individuals that can spend approximately one week or one evening per week on Thursday nights working with the cadets, approximately one weekend every 2 or 3 months, where it's a Saturday or a Sunday or maybe a Friday to a Sunday of doing a weekend training or a weekend days training activity, and as well as spending approximately 2 evenings a month doing other administration at home or at the squadron to prepare for training or to take care of any other adult administrative needs. So the requirements are not that extensive, and one of the challenges we have in conveying that message is that a lot of corps and squadrons that have a need for staff end up doing twice the work or 3 times the work and scaring people off on what the requirements are for adults. And trying to, and my role is trying to convince staff to pull back and do what you can with the resources you have to further highlight the fact that there's a need for somebody to step in to take on additional work. But the requirements are that. These are paid positions. I don't want to really sell it as a paid position. The main reason is because the job only pays 2.5 days a month for most of the positions, with a rate of pay equivalent to approximately $250 to $400 a month at maximum. The one thing that the Canadian Forces does is that if they send you away for any type of training based on your availability, you are paid for every day that you are trained. As well, if you have the flexibility, then you can go away and do summer employment opportunities and get paid for that. You can be picked up to do other weekends of activities for whether they're in the province or in the region. And again, those are based on your availability and desire and qualifications. So there are members that they're not principally employed in any other capacity, whether they're retired or they're a caregiver, most of the time, and they make themselves available in evenings and weekends for other activities, and definitely go away for the summer. Or if you're a student, you have a flexibility that you can pick those types of things up. Again, you can be as young as 18 years of age.
Hey, Donald?
And as old as 16.
Donald?
Yes.
Sure appreciate the time this evening. That's been a lot of good information. We'll just give you a couple minutes to wrap up.
Sure.
And that would be appreciated, and then we can chat about this amongst the council. But for sure.
Absolutely,
Good.
absolutely.
Thanks a lot.
So the two things that I'd like to leave the council with is one is the cadets. The cadets in February of 2020 celebrated its 70th anniversary. Unfortunately, COVID hit, and we weren't able to do that celebration, and we still hold the certificates. And so when we can resume to in-person training, we definitely like to look at our 70th anniversary. And I'd like to definitely work with the CAO on the council's participation in that type of a celebration. There's a couple of options that are available to the council. We have an award structure at the Corps, or at the squadron, and there is the ability for the council to pick up and quote, own one of those awards. And then every year, a council member would present that award to the deserving cadets. The other way that the council can recognize it, and this is a little more of a research project, I have some information on, is by giving or recognizing the long history of the cadets in the community by granting them Freedom of the City recognition. So that's something that I'd like to put out there as an option, or two options for the council to consider, and recognizing that we won't be getting back to any type of in-person training to allow for a ceremony until the fall anyways. The last thing is a general ask, and I think that based on my past experience, I've worked with St. John Ambulance, Chambers of Commerce's, and a whole bunch of things. It would be nice if the council could spearhead a community sign-up night like they do for youth in the fall for adults, and possibly tie that in with maybe the volunteer week that goes on in April. But I believe that it would be great if there was some type of fair, farmer's market, call it what you want, sign-up night where all the adult organizations in the community or adult opportunities can be brought together, and adult members in the community can understand the wealth of options that are available to them in the community. And so that individuals from, booths could be set up by Rotary, by Legion, by Kinsman, by the Squadron, by the curling club, by the golf club, or whatever, to provide information to the adults, for the adults, about adult opportunities in the community. And I think that if that was attempted on a 1, 2, or 3 year trial, I think that it would add to the vibrancy and bring a general awareness of the adult opportunities that do exist. And I know that many adult organizations are starving for volunteers, for members, for whatever category you want to call it, and they're looking for a positive vehicle in order to just demonstrate or provide that visibility. And I think that it would be great if the council, along with whether it be the business development manager or something else, would be able to do something in that regard.
Okay, thank you very, very much, Captain.
Yeah, if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Okay, we will poll the council members if anyone has a question of Captain Thomson. I guess the one question I have you made a presentation to the town of Swan River?
I have not had that. This is my first foray into meeting with the councils, and so I have attempted to reach out to the town prior to COVID, and I'm leaving it to Don Case from the Legion to do the same now during COVID.
Okay.
If you have contacts, I want to share that information with them, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, will do. Again, thank you very, very much for the comprehensive report. And
No problem.
council
And
will-
again, if your CAO wants to, they can reach out and we can have more discussion on various matters. And I'm more than happy to provide reports on any given basis and attend any council meeting in the future to address any specific or general issues.
Good. Thank you very much. We appreciate your time.
Thank you for your time. And
Good night.
I'm going to depart the meeting if there's no other questions.
Appears not. Thank you
Excellent.
again, and good night.
Thank you. You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, all of us can take under advisement what we've heard, and if we have some spare time, perhaps could volunteer or know someone who might be willing to do so. Okay, we will move back to general business, 7.1, by law enforcement officer's report.
We already spent our time in there, yes.
Next resolution, resolved that the bylaw enforcement officer's report for February 2021 shall be received by the council for the municipality of Swan Valley West. Do we have a mover for that resolution? Moved by Councillor Kushniryk. Seconder? Councillor Foster. Any discussion? Questions? If not, all in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
That is carried. 7.2, resolved that the following animal control reports shall be received by the council for the municipality of Swan Valley West. The Rural Animal Control Officer's report for the month of February 2021, and be it further resolved that payment for the above services shall be approved as submitted. Do we have a mover for that resolution? Councillor Blosha. Seconder? Councillor Wills. Any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
That is carried. Seven point three, resolved that the following animal control reports shall be received by the council for the municipality of Swan Valley West. The Urban Animal Control Officer's report for the month of February 2021. Be it further resolved that payment for the above services shall be approved as submitted. A mover for that resolution, please. Councillor Kushniryk. Seconded by Councillor Foster. Any discussion on that report? If not, all in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
That is carried.
So 7.4 is gonna be moved to next meeting. That's outstanding items to be moved to taxes.
Okay, that'll be tabled then.
And then this is 7.5.
Okay, 7.5. Resolved that council for the municipality of Swan Valley West does hereby approve the attendance to the 2021 AMM Spring Convention via virtual presentations dated February 14th, April 14th, 2021, 10 a.m. to April 16th, 2021 at 11 a.m. Anyone interested in attending? James?
There's one or two of them I'd like to go through, not all of them, but there's a couple events there that look interesting.
Okay, well, then I think we have to do, I don't think that they take registration for just a session or two, Bill, so, or Councillor Gade, so we'll have to put you for the whole thing.
Yeah, you can pick and choose what
What's the
you
price
like.
of the whole? I'll judge if it's worth it or not.
Do you know what it is?
$25.
For $25, I think it would be worth it.
Okay, anyone else?
I would like to, but it's right during school.
You can put me down too.
Okay, Councillor Pierrepont.
When's the deadline for registration?
James, do you know when the deadline for registration
I don't
is?
know. Is it on that sheet?
To April 9th.
Yeah, it opens the 15th of March. Through the-
Until April 9th,
Okay.
the deadline.
So we can get some more names next time.
Yeah.
This would allow entry from home.
Yes.
If someone wants to attend, I will probably be attending here with James, so
You might as well join. If you have intentions of doing it, you might as well join. You can always cancel out at the next meeting, and then this resolution's passed.
couldn't they just come here?
Yeah.
Then they don't have
Yeah,
to
that's
be on
right.
here.
So that's good, yeah. We'll be on.
I say they don't have to be listed on here necessarily.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, we have four individuals, James Webb, Councillor Gade, Councillor Pierrepont, and myself. The rest of the resolution,
Glen's on.
oh, Councillor Foster,
Yeah, if we wanna join, we can just come here, right?
yeah. Be it further resolved that all applicable expenses shall be paid in accordance with the current municipal policies and bylaw. Admin will register all participants. Do we have a mover for that resolution? Councillor Wills, seconded by Councillor Kushniryk. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
That is carried. Seven point six. Resolved that the Swan River Fire Department report for February 2021 shall be received by the Council for the Municipality of Swan Valley West. Do we have a mover for that resolution? Councillor Blosha. Seconded by Councillor Foster.
Yes.
Any discussion? Questions? If not, all in favor?
Yes.
That is carried. Resolved that the Benito Fire Department report for February 2021 shall be received by the Council for the Municipality of Swan Valley West. Councillor Pierrepont, I heard you just missed out on the last one. Do you want to move or second this one?
Sure.
Moved by Councillor Pierrepont, a seconder please. Councillor Kushniryk. Any questions? Comments? Not all in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
That is carried.
Those are the two important ones.
All of council would have received this correspondence.
Yeah, you can just confirm that.
Councillor Pierrepont and Councillor Gade, did you receive the proposal from JTL Backhoe Services?
Yes, I did.
Yes.
Both of them?
No,
Okay.
don't you?
Yes.
Okay. This is a resolution to accept it or approve it. Resolved that Council for the Municipality of Swan Valley West has hereby approved the attached proposal from JTL Backhoe Services. Do we have a mover, please? Councillor Wills. A seconder? Councillor Blosha. Any questions or comments? If not, all in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
That is carried. Next resolution. Whereas council has the option to obtain Manitoba Public Safety Communication Services, PSCS, and subscriber equipment as set out in the Manitoba Public Safety Communications Offer Service dated January 27th, 2021, and the terms of use as attached may be amended from time to time. Therefore be it resolved that the ACAO will sign said agreement on behalf of the Municipality of Swan Valley West. Do we have a mover for that resolution? Moved by Councillor Kushniryk. Seconder? Councillor Wills. Any discussion? Questions? Or comments? If not, all in favor?
Yes.
That is carried. Seven ten. Whereas Council for the Municipality of Swan Valley West feels it's important to support volunteer organizations of the Swan Valley who provide services and support to ratepayers, and therefore be it resolved that the Municipality of Swan Valley West approves a letter of support towards any funding applications that the Bonito Legion Ladies Auxiliary should apply for. Do we have a mover for that? Moved by Councillor Blosha. Seconder, Councillor Foster. Any questions or comments? If not, all in favor?
Yes.
Councillor Pierrepont, did I hear you?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. That is
Yeah.
carried. Seven eleven, whereas a request for permission to operate a repair facility / inspection station at the location Northeast 10, 38, 27, instead of the Northeast 35, 27, 27. Therefore be it resolved that the Council for the Municipality of Swan Valley West does hereby grant the permission for the relocation of this business. Do we have a mover for that resolution? Councillor Blosha. Seconder, Councillor Kushniryk. Questions or comments? If not, all in favor?
Yes. Yes.
That is carried. Seven 12. Resolved that council approves financial support for the Swan Valley Crisis Center for 2021 in the amount of $440. $400 from the Municipality of Swan Valley West and $40 from the LUD. Do we have a mover for that resolution? Moved by Councillor Kushniryk. Seconder, Councillor Foster. Questions or comments? If not, all in favor?
Yes. Yes.
That is carried. Moving on to 8, financial items. 8.1, general checks. Resolved that the Council for the Municipality of Swan Valley West does hereby approve the following payments. General checks number 16765 to 16804 in the amount of $108,440.77 for a grand total of $108,440.77. Do we have a mover for that resolution? Moved by Councillor Wills, seconded by Councillor Foster. Any questions or comments on that list of checks?
One question.
Go ahead.
The check for the fire truck deposit, do we have any idea when the truck is available?
There is an 8 to 10 week delay on the light tower. They did not have one in stock. However, they may be delivering it prior to that and then having their service people drive up when it arrives, I'm talking now the light tower, and install it in Bonito. March 27th was the day that was suggested that they may be able to come with the truck. You had a further question, Councillor Gade?
No, thank you.
Okay, any other questions? If not, all in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
That is carried. Eight point two. Resolved that the Council for the Municipality of Swan Valley West does hereby approve the following payments. Payroll payments, checks number 3526 to 3538 in the amount of $15,764.25 for a grand total of $15,764.25. Do we have a mover for that resolution? Moved by Councillor Blosha. Seconder. Councillor Kushniryk. Questions on those checks? If not, all in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
That is carried. Eight point three. Resolved that the Council for the Municipality of Swan Valley West does hereby approve the following payments. Indemnities for February in the amount of $9,241.00 for a grand total of $9,241.00. Do we have a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Kushniryk. A seconder, Councillor Foster. Any questions on this set of checks?
Talk about the two.
Oh, you wanted, okay, our finance, James Webb wants to do an explanation here.
I still need to receive approval from one councillor and one committee member, LED member. So when we approve this, when they come in, any adjustments will be made on March, and that money won't be released until we get those reports.
Any questions now? If not, all in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
That is carried. Okay, moving on to number 9. Stop sign recommendation from the Transportation Committee. We had a transportation meeting on the 4th of March. And a particular stop sign location was discussed. And it was the recommendation of the committee that the stop sign remain in place for safety reasons. Any questions on that?
Councillor Gade,
Go ahead.
just making sure we're talking about the stop sign on the road there that was the question with the real bumper.
Correct.
Yeah, I believe that's the one, yeah. Road 200.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I'm curious what, like, I understand the RCMP are recommending it be changed to a yield sign. I would wonder why, as a committee, we wouldn't sort of look to what the RCMP's recommendation is and uphold it.
I have not seen any recommendation from the RCMP. Are you aware of a recommendation, a written recommendation from the RCMP?
Well, I know there was to be a meeting on Friday about it with the RCMP that got canceled. And the nice gentleman over at the RCMP that was looking after that was intending to recommend that it be a yield sign at that meeting.
Yeah, we have not seen any recommendation from that at all. And as I understand it, the school bus traverses east and west there. So it's critical, I believe, that
There's been a lot of close calls.
that road, the road east and west apparently is also more well-used than the north-south road. We've also recommended to the truckers to go 2 miles further to the west and hit the road straight south of Durban and hit the highway at that,
Just 1
at
mile.
that 1 mile? Okay, 1 mile west.
So we would be talking about using the Durban road then?
Yes, yeah.
Did the transportation committee give any thought to the rating on that road?
To the rating on it?
There's a mile of pavement that is not rated RTAC, so it's illegal for that company to use that road?
Actually, highways have suggested that that road can be used.
I can speak from my own experience that I also am not allowed to use that road without a special permit being issued by highways, which is tough to get.
Well, that road is sort of built for that kind of work there. I know Bill, that last mile there, but we talked to highways in Winnipeg there about that. And they said that
I'm having a little trouble making out, Mr. Foster. Could just maybe move the microphone or something?
Yeah, we're gonna move it closer.
They said they're looking into it. They didn't grant it.
yeah, highways there, when we met with them in Winnipeg, and, or Brandon, I think it was Winnipeg, I think, we met with them there. And anyways, they were looking into that there, and that was just that 1 mile there, and they were gonna try to do it there, get it so it's the same weight. Before.
That would be amazing if they did. Do we know if they did though?
Well, I thought Donnie was gonna look into that, was he not?
From my understanding, they have given their blessing to that, but I stand to be corrected on that.
Cause that road is.
I wonder if we would be able to get that in writing so we could make that known to everybody that would like to use that road.
We can certainly attempt to do that, yeah. Just the
It
same,
would it'd be good. It would save our roads a lot. You know, we'd get the heavy traffic on the road that really should have it.
yeah, I think most of the concern that the truckers had was the bridge. And the bridge is capable of handling that, so, we will endeavor to see if we can get a letter confirming that. And the same thing with any recommendation from the RCMP, we would have to see that in writing. And then in the event of some mishap there, it's not on us.
True, I guess, you know, a yield sign has basically the same effect as a stop sign.
No, it
You
isn't.
know, if I-
No.
No, it's not, Bill. It means you don't have to stop now, you can just look and go.
There's been close calls on that road there, in that corner there. It's sort of blind on that southeast or northeast, yeah, if you're coming from it's on the east side there. It's blind there.
Again, having a little trouble hearing, but I would just suggest that anyone that thinks that a yield sign and a stop sign are dramatically different, to do a little homework on traffic control devices. They have the exact same effect, except that a rolling stop is allowed at one, which in that particular corner, certainly the concern that's been expressed by the truckers is in the winter time, that corner becomes very icy. It's very difficult to stop completely otherwise and then be able to get going
But they're
again.
rolling to
Whereas
a stop.
if excuse me, still talking, if they were to traffic through it, say 5 or 10 kilometers an hour, just so as a rolling stop, that would alleviate their problem. With the yield sign, that would be legal.
We will attempt to get confirmation from highways that the other road a mile west can be used, and that hopefully will settle it. Apparently, there are other stop signs on that north-south road that some truckers are not coming to a stop either. And it's a dangerous situation. School buses,
I think
as I
we could get on the Durban Road, that would be the preferred.
absolutely.
Okay, when you go through Durban, see if
Okay.
there's, restrictions.
Until then, the stop sign will remain where it is.
Signals in there.
Any further questions or comments? Okay, we'll move on to number 10, 10.1. You have before you a sample of the seasonal employees' job description. Any questions with regard to it?
Councillor Gade.
Go ahead.
Looking at the hours part of it, knowing some of the previous discussions we've had about a statement like that, would we want to look at changing how that's stated so it doesn't provide hard and fast dates? Or is that something we're comfortable with?
It states in the body itself that start and end date may vary depending on work required, seasonal conditions. There could be an et cetera put in there possibly. Budget considerations might be another thing that could be added. But we can certainly add those.
Yeah, I'm just thinking that when we have both the May 1st, October 31st, plus the May vary, I just wonder if we'd be better off taking out the May 1st to October 31st part and just leave the start and end date will vary.
Yeah, will would be probably a better word. Make note of that.
Yeah, change it to start date determined by employer.
Start and termination dates.
Yeah.
I'm wondering also if there should be or could be something put in the body of the conditions itself that it is a term position rather than a recurring position, and we get away from some of the issues that we had experienced previously.
Yeah, that sounds.
Anyone have an issue with that? If not, James has made note of those changes and we'll see that they get inserted.
Yep, so we've got start and termination dates will be determined by employer. Will vary depending on work requirements and seasonal conditions. This will be a term position. I can put that in some part of the body of it, and also add in and budget considerations.
Okay, thank you very much. Nothing under 11. A smiley face. Okay, we'll move on to committee reports. Start at the top tonight. Councillor Gade, did you attend any meetings?
I have to say I haven't necessarily been to pilot meetings. I've had a chance to have some meetings with individuals, but not a lot of council meetings. But as always, I thank those individuals for coming and being part of the process of making sure that we all know their issues.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Wills?
I think for me, it was just a special meeting on February 26th, and last Thursday I attended a transportation meeting.
Thank you. Councillor Foster?
Yeah, that was the same special meeting and transportation last week there.
Thank you. Councillor Kushniryk?
As well, special meeting, the transportation meeting last week, and a library meeting that I attended, where I think we're all getting closer to budget season, so that's being looked at this time of year.
Are the libraries fully open now or not?
No, we still have restrictions. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Blosha?
Yeah, I attended the special meeting on the 26th of February and the transportation on the 4th. I think I attended the special meeting by phone.
Okay. Thank you. Councillor Pierrepont?
I had the special meeting and the transportation meeting, and as well as Mr. Gade, I've had 2 or 3 conversations with some concerned ratepayers on some issues, and that's about it for me.
Okay, thank you. I too attended a special meeting, an airport commission meeting, and transportation meeting last Thursday.
That airport too, I was at.
Okay, special meeting.
James.
Special meeting.
Yep,
And what was the other?
airport commission
Airport.
and trans meeting. Yourself, Mr. Webb?
I had a special meeting and transportation meeting.
I was at that airport commission one too there, James. I can't remember right
Okay, thank you, James.
I'll give my notes to James. Help him out.
Okay. Resolved that we do hereby accept the following verbal reports regarding council committees and communications. Councillor Kushniryk, special meeting, transportation meeting, and a library meeting. Councillor Blosha, special meeting, transportation meeting. Councillor Wills, special meeting, transportation meeting. Councillor Pierrepont, ratepayer issues. You were attendance at the special meeting as well, were you not, Councillor Pierrepont?
Yes.
Okay.
there.
I left a space for it. Didn't get
Yeah.
back to it.
That's okay.
And at the trans meeting as well?
Yes, I said those.
Yeah, it's just that James can't write quite as quick as we can speak, so. And Councillor Gade dealt with some individual issues with ratepayers. Councillor Foster, special meeting, transportation meeting, airport commission meeting. Myself, special meeting, airport commission meeting, and transportation meeting. The ACAO/FO, James Webb, attended the special meeting and the transportation committee meeting. A mover, please. Councillor Blosha. Seconded by Councillor Wills. Questions or comments, corrections? If not, all in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
That is carried. Okay, we are coming to the point where we will be going in camera, but prior to that, we will allow anyone from the gallery the opportunity to ask a question or make a comment with regard to topics that were discussed so far this evening?
Good evening. Just for the record, I apologize. It's Ron. I came in, but it was during the delegation, so I didn't want to interrupt.
Okay, and we didn't hear the beep, so thank you for letting us know.
Well, I heard it and I was wondering.
Any other comments or questions? If not, well, thank you very much for attending via phone. And hopefully, as I said last meeting, we can soon do away with all the precautions of COVID and get back to life a little more normal. But thank you all for attending again and have a good evening.
Thank you all.
Okay, we will take a 10-minute recess. Okay, resolved that pursuant to section 152 sub 3 of the Municipal Act, the council as a whole shall go into camera and close the meeting to continue discussions regarding employee matters, conflict of interest, and shared services. Do we have a mover for that resolution? Moved by Councillor Wills. Seconder, Councillor Kushniryk. All in favor?
Yes.
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 That is carried. That pursuant to section 152 sub 4 of the Municipal Act, this meeting shall be reopened to the public. Do we have a mover for that resolution? Councillor Wills, seconded by Councillor Blosha. All in favor?
Yes.
What did you say?
Were those two yeses or one abstain?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Two guys talking together, so at any rate,
It does here too.
that is carried.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, there's a speaker.
Yeah, I had turned down the volume a little bit before.
Okay.
Anything else from anyone? Not resolved at this,
No.
Little delayed reaction, that's all.
oh,
It's
okay.
50.
Resolved that the council for the Municipality of Swan, oh no, this isn't the right one. We need the adjournment.
It was under Glen's chair.
Hiding it for later.
Okay, here we got the right one now. Resolved that this meeting shall now adjourn at 9:40 p.m. Be it further resolved that the next meeting is Tuesday, March 23rd, 2021 at 7 p.m. Mover, Councillor Foster. Seconded by Councillor Kushniryk. All in favor?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
And that is carried. Thank you all very much.